Modern dating is confusing as hell. If you're like, when do I text back? When do I not? I just saw this video that said you shouldn't text back for X amount of days. And now I'm really confused. And then your friends are like, no. You got to like play a little hard to get. And you're like, wait, well, I don't think playing hard to get like makes sense. I don't really, doesn't feel like me. But then other people are like, oh my God, you have to get on the apps. The apps are amazing. The apps are amazing. And you're like, okay, I'm going to get on the app. I know somebody who met that way. And then you get on the app and you're like, oh my God, this is even more confusing. And then it's like all of a sudden you get ghosted and you're just like, holy shit, what is this? I quit. I am so sick of dating. I can't do this. Welcome to modern dating and why it's confusing as hell. No, you're not crazy at all, okay? And I just want you to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that if you are dating in this world, which I met my husband modern dating, okay? So I have been there in the trenches. I've done it myself. I can tell you right now firsthand, you can absolutely fucking get through this. But it is confusing as hell. And I am going to go over today on Carla Turned On why it's confusing as hell, how exactly to fix that shit, and why it happens. And of course, there's zero shame in asking for help here and listening right now. Also, I am going to get into our taco section, talking about coming and orgasms. Yes. And we are going to be talking about dated sex advice that needs to die. Okay? Yes, die. And we are saying goodbye forever to because it fucking sucks. No pun intended. But first, welcome to Carla Turned On, where dating and relationships get real, sex gets talked about, and the BS gets left on red. Let's get turned on. If you're in the dating trenches, welcome. Okay, I am welcoming you with open arms because it is hard and it is confusing and you can start to feel isolated. You can start to feel a little lost, confused. You're like, why am I doing this? I'm going to quit. I have to tell you, I've been a dating and relationship coach for actually 9 years ago. I started my coaching course and started coaching people. And then I opened my business 8.5 years ago. So that's crazy to think. That's actually really fucking exciting. I love what I do. So thank you to anybody, if you're listening, who's a client or anybody who's ever been a client of mine or somebody who's interested in working with me. And you're like, how do I work with you, Carla? You can go to carlaromo.com. I offer different coaching packages and ways to work with me through Ask Me Anythings, different guides, all that good stuff. Or you can find it in the show notes. But I am going to say this right now. Dating has increasingly, over about the last decade, become even more confusing. And there's so many factors as to why. So after doing this for some time, I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons of why dating feels confusing as hell in the modern world of it. Number 1 is nobody says what they actually want. Okay, yes, people do. And that is important to remember. The previous episode, I talk about questions to ask your date, or if you're in a relationship, questions to ask them, because this is important to get rid of the people who aren't intentionally dating. But with the high volume of dating apps, right? Like, and I say high volume because just because you see a lot of people doesn't mean you're necessarily getting a lot of dates. And that's where a lot of people feel frustrated and are like ready to throw in the towel or like, I'm going to quit dating, Carla, and come to me. And I'm like, no, don't quit just yet. I got you. But it is really hard when you feel like there's so many options out there and you're like, I don't understand, like these people with dating apps are saying that they maybe want a relationship, but then they said it and then we dated for a little bit and then clearly they didn't want a serious relationship. And like, I don't understand. I feel very confused. There's so much noise out there right now. It's so loud. And a lot of times people aren't as forthcoming. People aren't communicating as much. Culture has shifted as well. There's hookup culture, which is much more acceptable now. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're intentionally dating, that is not what you fucking want. You're like, that's the last thing I want to do is just sleep with the person to sleep with them. But I'm going to say this, that it is entirely overwhelming to navigate because when you're talking with people about what you want and dating and all that kind of stuff, sometimes people just don't share it or it's confusing and you're just like, I don't understand. Like, this doesn't make sense. And then some people are critical if you talk about it on a first date, which I am not critical of this, but some people are. You don't talk about it too soon. Well, okay, if people are hesitant of that, I have other questions of other things going on that they're avoiding, but we're not going to get into that right now with Carla Turned On. But I will say that it is overwhelming as fuck. It's overwhelming, and people just aren't being as straightforward. It can feel like there's unlimited options, and there are people being straightforward about what they want, like on dating apps, for example. But the problem is you get pulled in with all these other people who just want to hook up or want short term or aren't sure what they want. And that's okay, right? I'm not criticizing people who are unsure as long as they're upfront about it. But a lot of people think that they want a relationship and maybe aren't emotionally ready for it. And then you're like, this is confusing and this is mixed signals. It can feel confusing as hell because you have so many people in front of you while having like nobody in front of you. And this is the like go with the flow or like getting mixed signals or getting into situationships. It can drive you fucking nuts. And people are terrified of vulnerability. And this is why they communicate, well, lack of communication indirectly, that is. Number two, I'm going to say this because, yes, I have. All right, fuck it. I'm just going to say it and then I'm going to back myself up. Number two, dating online made everything worse. Okay, somebody has a very strong online presence, which is probably how you either found this podcast or I don't know, maybe you knew me before because you saw me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or wherever. And you're like, oh, yeah, like, oh, she's got a podcast. I'm going to listen. I am going to be real with you. I've talked about this before many times. I'm vocal about this. Some of the dating advice out there sucks. Some of it's good, but some of it fucking sucks. And I wouldn't even come close to it. Like I would just keep your distance from it. It's like a toxic waste specimen sitting there, just ready to like take over your body and poison you with shitty advice that makes you feel shitty in return. I can't tell you. And honestly, I think men are hit really, really hard with it. Yes, women, I get it. Like we have our own issues, but like online noise and space can be so hard for guys because they're already, correct me if I'm wrong, dudes, but this is what a lot of my clients who are men tell me all the time. They feel lonely and isolated. They're not going to go talk to their fucking bros about their dating life. And some do, some talk a little bit about it, but women tend to have more of the societal norms around talking to your girlfriend about it, calling her up. Oh my God, like, or texting, he like stood me up, I got ghosted, fuck this, hate dating, like let's go have fun tonight, whatever. It's like guys will be like, "Oh yeah, let's do dinner tonight." But they're not going to talk about the fact that they feel like shit because they got ghosted, right? Instead, they're going to get hawked on, like hawked on. If that's even a word, but we're going to say it is, baby. They get hawked on, preyed on. There we go. But we're going to use hawked. Hawked on by these weirdos online who are giving shitty dating advice. I have had so many male clients say to me, Carla, I am getting terrible dating advice that makes me feel more like shit than I ever did with dating. And I'm like, get off TikTok, get off Instagram, whatever reels, YouTube that you're watching that's making you feel worse. Like remove that shit, that toxic specimen out of your fucking life. Because with modern dating, people have so many opinions because there is a huge cultural shift with dating. There is. And this is why I call it modern dating. Like we can talk about modern dating, this and that, but there's a huge shift. And dating has changed. And the reason people are seeking partners has changed from traditional values. And I will say that I actually love modern dating. Like I think there's amazing things that have come out of modern dating, 110%. But as a result, navigating it when we're in this shift, it's confusing and it's just like, what the hell? And then you get so much noise from outside people that you're like, well, this person said to do this or this person said to do that. And a lot of times they prey on your vulnerabilities. And this goes for men or women. They prey on your vulnerabilities, your emotions. So then no longer are you making decisions based around what you actually need for yourself. And you're getting spun up in whatever the hell these people are trying to tell you to do because you feel lost. A lot of people feel lost in dating. I used to feel lost in dating years and years and years ago when I was very codependent. I felt lost as fuck in dating. I didn't even understand red flags. I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. I just was like, oh, we feel this little sparky feeling. I like you. I like you too. Cool. We're together. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay. I did that a couple times, learned the hard way, insanity, doing the same shit over and over again, expecting different results. Yeah. So you have to change your behavior in order to get the results that you actually want. But I will say, don't listen to the noise. Quiet the noise, detach if you need to, but it is bullshit. And then, of course, Number 3, hey, real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want dating support, don't forget to look in the notes below where you can learn all about my guides and how to work with me. And if you want to follow me on my socials, you can find me anywhere at I am Carla Romo. Let's get turned on, which is dating apps creating confusion. Apps are an emotional roller coaster. They are built to be a science of an algorithm. And when I say science of an algorithm, this isn't a psychological science to help you. It's a psychological science to keep you on the app, keep you deleting and getting back on, deleting and getting back on. You know that cycle. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have been dating for some time, you have absolutely downloaded the apps and deleted it and gotten back on. Maybe you haven't gotten back on train yet. And you're like, no, Carla, I refuse to get back on. That's fine. You do you, boo. But I am going to say this right now that yes, the apps have created so much tension in this space around the acceptable stuff of ghosting because you just go on a date with somebody and then you're like, cool, this was a nice date. And the person said they had a great time too. They even fucking kissed you goodbye or something, which I always say you do not need to kiss on a first date. And most people don't kiss on a first date, but you kiss goodbye. And you're like, wow, this was amazing. And then they're like, sorry, I wasn't feeling it. Or they're just like, yeah, I'm being silent on purpose here right now. Awkward pause, quiet silence equals ghosting because you don't hear from them again. And it's just like, what is this? And then you have people, like I was talking about earlier, who say they want a relationship, but maybe are emotionally unavailable for one, but they have all the things that it checks all the boxes on paper. Or you go on a date with somebody and they look great on their app and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then you get on there and you're like, well, I didn't order catfish for lunch today because this person does not look like their photos or they're using photos for so many years ago. Don't do that shit. And if you're like, okay, I'm freaking out. What do I do, Carla? I do have a guide called Swipe Match Spark, the ultimate dating app guide that can help you optimize your profile. And it's proven. It's what I did to meet my husband on the apps. And it's how my clients are meeting their partners and, to be honest, their husbands on apps, husbands and wives on apps. Okay. So if you're like, I feel so lost in this space, you can get the guide. It's in the show notes or carlaromo.com. But I am going to tell you this. Dating apps feel so treacherous because then you also are like, I'm in pen pal territory. I was talking about this with my client the other day and she was like, Carla, I sometimes sit with like weeks with people. She's like a newer client. So we hadn't started working together and she's like, Carla, I need help with dating. I want to intentionally date. I want to meet somebody, but like apps are confusing. It's overwhelming, all this stuff. So I was like, okay, tell me a little bit more about what's frustrating. She's like, the pen pal territory. I can spend weeks. I'm like, no, we're not spending weeks anymore, girlfriend. We are going to only allow 1 week maximum to talk to somebody back and forth. And if it doesn't progress anywhere, you just stop responding. Either they'll get the hint or you're going to hear from them in 2 weeks. Hey, how's it going? It's like, no, you do not need extra friends. This goes for men and women, not just women. And I am going to say this. It can take a serious self-esteem hit. The apps can, big time. But I know I'm sitting here talking about all the negativity around the modern dating stuff with apps, but I also really want to highlight they're also a really great way to meet quality people too. And that's why I talked about Swipe Match Spark, like my proven dating app guide, because there is a system to actually meeting people. I met my husband on the apps. I use the system that I use in Swipe Match Spark. I have my clients use that same system. If you know how to make the apps work for you versus working for the algorithm or working around the apps or any blocks that go on, right? I have lots of clients have blocks around apps. They're like, oh my gosh, this is too overwhelming. So like, I'm only going to like reply to people who heart me versus me going through and hearting people or replying to people's comments, that kind of thing. I'm like, no, you need to make the apps work for you. We need to get rid of all the blocks that are happening, anything that's making you hesitant about it, second guessing, self-esteem stuff, so you can get out there and actually fucking meet somebody because apps aren't hopeless, but in modern dating, it can feel confusing as hell because there's just so much out there. And it's like, what the fuck do you do with this? It's like walking into a circus and being like, oh, I'm supposed to stand in the arena and do some flips. Like, what do I even do with this? So you don't have to you don't have to join the circus today when it comes to apps. I promise you. And I'm going to say this, navigating the modern dating world is really difficult, but you don't have to do it alone. And I'm going to give you this little teensy advice. Stop decoding mixed signals. Fall in love with reality and not potential. Now, did somebody say tacos, baby? It is Tuesday. If you're listening to the day that the podcast does come out, although if you're in Australia, I guess it comes out on a Wednesday. But I will say it is Taco Tuesday, which I find, honestly, Taco Tuesday is so corny and cheesy as fuck. But I could go for some tacos. What's your favorite taco? Go ahead. Tell me, what's your favorite taco? I have a couple different favorite tacos, but like right now, a Baja fish taco. I could go for a fucking Baja fish taco. It's with some corn tortillas. Okay, I know I am digressing because I do love a good taco. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk we're here to talk about coming and orgasms on Carla Turned On. Also, I want to say while I'm digressing and on my taco kick, I also want to tell you, if you're enjoying the podcast or you're new here or you're a returning OG person, welcome again. You're awesome. Do not forget to rate the podcast. Give me 5 stars if you enjoy listening to it anywhere that you listen to the podcast. So let's get into the taco, which is outdated sex advice that needs to die, like right now. Number 1, wait blank amount of days to have sex. Yeah, bullshit. I'm sorry. This is... Okay. Blood's boiling. Let's not turn into a tomato right now. And do not put tomatoes on your tacos, okay? Unless you're doing like, I call it white people Mexican night. If anybody has listened to podcasts before, you have heard me talk about how I am half Mexican. I'm also half American. And I am not for the white people taco night. But it does have a place. It does have a time and place. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you're going to eat tacos, like good tacos, like don't put tomato on your taco. Like if you want an authentic Mexicana taco, don't do that. And also, a lot of people don't know this. Tacos are Mexican food, period. So like if you were like, oh, somebody's from like a Latin country, like they must eat tacos. No. Okay, it's Mexican. All right. I know I am digressing here. All right, let's get back the fuck into it is personal. You deciding how long you want to wait to have sex with somebody is completely personal. Everybody has different needs, experiences, different reasons of why they might wait. This is important to, number 1, obviously respect the other person. But if you have an idea in mind of how long it is important for you to wait, I want you to communicate with that person. If you're like, how do I do that? No filter. The sex guide every dater needs has all of that. It is my sex guide that can help you navigate these conversations with the person you're dating or in relationship with. But I'm going to say this, that it is so important you don't listen to wait X amount of time. I tell clients all the time, if you are somebody who gets super attached easily, okay, then maybe that's information for yourself to like give it some time to get to know somebody so you're not painting red flags green. You're not letting sex overshadow something that's really serious, big, and sketchy with this person. There is no universal timeline of when you should have sex with someone. Number 2, men's pleasure matters more than women's. Bullshit. A lot of times about, oh, well, he can finish, and if she doesn't, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's outdated, okay? Where it's all prioritized around the man's pleasure. We know that women can be pleasured. It might not look as traditional through penetrative sex, but there's foreplay, there's toys, there's other ways to involve sexual chemistry, sexual fun. That's the word, sexual fun together, where both people are being pleasured, and not to focus so heavily on the finish. Focus on the journey getting to the finish, if the finish line even happens. Sometimes the journey is more fun than the finish. And zero pressure on either end of who's finishing and who's not, but just focusing on the pleasure point is going to be important here. And a side note, don't fake the orgasms. Why, you ask? Because it sets you up and the other person up for a lack of communication of making sure your needs are being met. And number 3, good sex should just happen naturally. Bullshit again. Okay. Because the reality is good sex happens because you feel safe, you feel secure with the person. And what? You're communicating, nonverbal, noises, actions, words. It doesn't matter, but being able to talk about sex with the person you're having sex with is what is going to make it good. Making sure that both people are happy of whatever you define happy in that happy bed of yours. Loved this episode? Rate it 5 stars, hit that subscribe button, baby, and leave a review. Do you want to work with me? Grab my dating courses, apply for my coaching at carlaromo.com or find it all in the show notes, and give me a little follow at I am Carla Romo on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Catch you next time and stay tuned. Carla Turned On is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not a substitute for therapy. For professional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider.